After 3 years of hiatus and the completion of their mandatory military service, global K-pop phenomenon BTS, also known as Bangtan Sonyeondan, has finally broken their silence. In a highly anticipated group interview with GQ, published in February 2026, all 7 members reunited to reflect on their journey, their struggles, and the emotional road that led them back to the spotlight. For fans around the world, this moment feels symbolic. It is not just another magazine feature. It marks the official return of a group that redefined global pop culture. For the first time since announcing their hiatus in 2022, BTS, RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook sat down together as a complete team. The atmosphere of the interview wasn't flashy or overly dramatic. Instead, it felt reflective, honest, grounded. 7 artists who have lived through extraordinary highs, and very human doubts, speaking openly about what comes next, and perhaps the most surprising confession came from their leader, RM. He revealed that in the intense period leading up to their comeback, the pressure became overwhelming. The expectations were immense. After all, this is a group whose name is synonymous with stadium tours, record-breaking albums, and cultural impact on a global scale. The pressure was enormous. RM admitted that he shared that there were nights he struggled to sleep. There were moments when he quietly questioned whether continuing as BTS was the right decision. Should they move forward? Or was it time to close the chapter? This wasn't a dramatic announcement or a publicity stunt. It was the internal weight of responsibility. The fear of not meeting expectations. The challenge of returning after years away while the world continues to move at lightning speed. When RM first mentioned these feelings during a live broadcast on Weverse, it sent waves through the fandom. Armies around the world were stunned. Now, in this official interview, the context feels clearer. It was never about giving up. It was about confronting reality. Despite those moments of doubt, the bond between the members remained unshaken. We debuted as a team. That's our core identity, said V. It's a simple sentence, but it carries years of shared dorm rooms, rehearsals, arguments, laughter, and growth. BTS has always emphasized unity. Even during their hiatus, when each member explored solo projects and personal artistry, the idea of returning as 7 was never erased. By 2025, all members had completed their military service. Instead of immediately launching a global tour or making splashy public appearances, they made a quieter decision. They flew to Los Angeles and lived together under one roof for 2 months. It wasn't luxury living. It was discipline. 6 days a week, they followed a structured routine. Mornings began with physical training. Lunch was shared together, no separate schedules. Afternoons and evenings were spent in the studio, crafting songs, refining sounds, experimenting, and debating direction. The members described it as going back to the beginning. Before the sold-out arenas, before the Grammy nominations, before worldwide chart dominance, there were 7 trainees chasing a dream. This comeback process echoed those early years. It wasn't about headlines. It was about rebuilding chemistry. During the hiatus, each member carved out a unique solo path. Some explored experimental hip-hop textures. Others embraced global pop sounds. There were reflective ballads, intimate storytelling, bold visuals. The diversity showcased how much they had matured, not only as performers, but as individuals. According to Suga, that evolution will be audible in the new album. You'll see a more mature side of BTS, he explained. Maturity doesn't necessarily mean darker or heavier. It means layered, thoughtful, honest. The members hinted that the upcoming release will reflect both their personal journeys and their collective identity. It will not try to replicate the past, but it will not abandon it either. The world they are returning to is different from the one they paused in 2022. The music industry has shifted. Trends have evolved. New artists have emerged. But BTS appears less concerned with competition and more focused on authenticity. Their story has never been just about fame. It has been about growth, about navigating youth, responsibility, ambition, and vulnerability in public view. Now, as they prepare to release a new album, the narrative feels deeper than ever. This isn't simply a comeback. It's a reunion forged through time, distance, and introspection. For ARMY, the anticipation is electric. For the members, it seems grounded. The doubts that once kept RM awake at night have transformed into renewed clarity. The pressure remains, but it is shared. Carried together. 7 artists. One team, and as the February 2026 issue of GQ reminds the world, BTS is not just returning to the stage, they are stepping into a new chapter of adulthood, unity, and creative evolution. But there is another layer to this story, one that goes beyond charts and accolades. During their time apart, the members experienced life outside the non-stop spotlight for the first time in over a decade. Military service placed them in structured environments far removed from sold-out concerts and flashing cameras. It gave them time to reflect not as global icons, but as individuals in their late 20s and early 30s. That period of separation, they explained, became unexpectedly meaningful. Some members discovered new musical inspirations during quiet nights off duty. Others found clarity in routine and discipline. The distance from the stage allowed them to reassess why they started in the first place. When they reunited in Los Angeles, those personal experiences naturally flowed into the creative process. Conversations stretched long into the night, about identity, responsibility, fear, gratitude, and the future. There were disagreements, of course. Creative tension has always been part of BTS's dynamic. But this time, the discussions felt more grounded. Less about proving something. More about expressing something real. Industry insiders are already speculating that the upcoming album may redefine BTS's sound once again. While no official tracklist has been revealed, the members hinted at themes of transition, resilience, and rediscovery. Rather than chasing trends, they appear focused on telling their own story, and that decision alone may be what makes this comeback different. In the interview, subtle changes were noticeable, not just in their words, but in their demeanor. There was less urgency to impress and more confidence in who they are. Fame is no longer something they are running toward, it is something they understand. For younger fans who discovered BTS during hits like Dynamite or Butter, this new era may feel deeper and more introspective. For longtime ARMY who witnessed their early hip-hop days, it may feel like a full-circle moment. What remains unchanged is their connection to one another. Even after pursuing solo albums, collaborations, and personal milestones, the chemistry between the 7 members appears intact. Living together again, even temporarily, reinforced that dynamic. Shared meals, shared laughter, shared exhaustion after long studio sessions. It reminded them that before they were global ambassadors or chart-topping artists, they were simply 7 young men chasing music. Now, as 2026 unfolds, the global industry is watching closely. Will BTS dominate charts again? Will they break new touring records? Those questions naturally arise whenever their name is mentioned, but perhaps the more meaningful question is this: what does success look like for them now? If the GQ interview is any indication, success is no longer measured solely by numbers. It is measured by sustainability, by creative freedom, by staying together, and that may be the most powerful message of all. BTS is not returning out of obligation. They are returning by choice, not because the world demands it, but because they still believe in the team they built back in 2013. That the next era isn't about proving they can dominate again, that it's about showing who they've become, and inviting the world to grow with them.